thinking about these ICE facilities, ICE processing facilities, ICE holding facilities, here's a little bit of a heads up, something to watch out for. You've all seen, right, ongoing protests and occasionally very intense protests at these ICE facilities in places like Broadview, Illinois, and in Minneapolis at the ICE facility there. We've seen flashpoint protests at the ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey, and the one in Tacoma, Washington. You've seen all that over the course of the past year, right? Well, here's something that we are now noticing. We're now noticing protests in sort of communities in uproar, really big local responses in far-flung, out-of-the-way towns all over the country, as ICE now starts to try to use some of the billions of dollars Trump and the Republicans just gave them, as they use that money to try to build new facilities and prisons and prison camps all over the country. They have now cited where they want those places to go. They're trying to repurpose vacant warehouses into prison camps. Everywhere they are trying to do that, they are being pushed back. And oftentimes it doesn't make more than local news, but when you start looking for it, you see it everywhere. Here, for example, is local news coverage from Durant, Oklahoma. Locals there packed a town meeting, and the local government, in response, rushed to pass a brand new ordinance that gives the city of Durant, Oklahoma, the power for the first time to say no to a jail or detention facility being put up in their town. They've got a 1.2 million square foot warehouse space that ICE wants to use to build a prison camp, but in Red State, Oklahoma, this local community, Durant, Oklahoma, and the Choctaw Nation, which is headquartered quite nearby, they are both very firmly saying no, they will not stand for it. Red State, Oklahoma. Also, look, Roxbury, New Jersey. Now, New Jersey is a blue state, but Roxbury is pretty much a red town. Roxbury has an all-Republican local government. But after locals in Roxbury, New Jersey got word that ICE wanted to use a 500,000 square foot warehouse in their town to put up an ICE prison camp there, locals started protesting like mad, and now the all-Republican town council in Roxbury has passed a resolution saying, no, you are not going to be allowed to build that here. Hutchins, Texas. In Hutchins, Texas, ICE is trying to build an immigrant prison camp there, too. They've got a 1 million square foot vacant warehouse in Hutchins, Texas. Locals have been protesting, and now the mayor is coming out firmly and publicly and saying they are not going to allow ICE to put in a prison camp in Hutchins, Texas either. It is something we do not need in our city and something we do not want. Orange County, New York. Again, New York, a blue state, but Orange County has generally leaned red. Residents of Orange County packing town halls and local public meetings, at least one of which had to be moved to a larger meeting site to accommodate the size of the crowd clamoring to get in. The village board and the mayor and the local Democratic Congressman, Pat Ryan, the Republican county executive in Orange County, all now saying no, ICE will not be allowed to build a new ICE facility. They will not be allowed to build an ICE prison camp in Orange County, New York. It would be catastrophic for the local community. In Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, ICE said it wanted to build a prison camp there, a huge one, to hold 7,500 people. Kansas City, Missouri City Council responded by passing a ban, a 5-year ban. Any non-municipal detention facility cannot be opened in that city for the next 5 years. That's a resolution introduced by the mayor. The ordinance was passed by the Kansas City, Missouri City Council. No, ICE, you cannot come in here and put a prison camp in here. Down to North Mississippi, Byhalia, Mississippi, locals there this past week protesting at the site where ICE wants to build a prison camp at a vacant warehouse in their town as well. Northern Mississippi saying no to that. In Social Circle, Georgia, which is 45 miles east of Atlanta. You see the headline there, Georgia town of 5,000 vows to fight ICE plan to warehouse 9,000. Even local Republican officials, even local Trump supporters saying they will not let ICE turn a vacant warehouse in Social Circle, Georgia, into a huge immigrant prison camp. People protesting there against it. Get ICE out of Social Circle. Hagerstown, Maryland. They're going to have a big protest tomorrow in Hagerstown. It'll include, among other people, their U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen, their Congresswoman April McClain Delaney, protesting tomorrow against ICE's plans to try to build a prison camp in Hagerstown, Maryland as well. Salt Lake City, Utah. People went out in deep, dense, cold fog on Friday morning, visibility just a few feet. They convened at a local site where they'd heard that ICE or federal officials might be coming to inspect a local facility in Salt Lake City to see if it was a place they could put a new ICE prison camp. Salt Lake Tribune says like 50 people showed up in this incredibly dense fog to try to be there, to try to show any federal officials who turned up that they were going to face local resistance if they wanted to put in an ICE prison camp in Salt Lake City. The feds didn't brave it. They never showed up Friday morning. But then people in Salt Lake City came out Sunday morning and protested against it anyway, essentially saying, don't you dare try it here. We're not going to stand for it here. No ICE detention camp here. Tonight, we're going to talk to an organizer from the successful campaign to get Avelo Airlines to stop flying deportation flights for ICE. You'll remember, we've been covering protests against Avelo Airlines for months. Avelo is a commercial air carrier that wants to fly people like, on vacation or on business trips, while they were simultaneously also chaining up people in shackles and handcuffs and flying them on their planes on deportation flights for ICE. People protested all over the country against Avelo for that. At every airport they had operations, peaceful, relentless protests for months to pressure Avelo into stopping taking money from ICE, stopping helping ICE with their deportations. And you know what? That Avelo campaign succeeded. Avelo Airlines has now announced that they have ended their contract with ICE. They are no longer flying their deportation flights. We're going to talk with one of the people involved in that successful protest campaign against Avelo Airlines to ask how they did it. I mean, the Tesla takedown protests worked to get Elon Musk out of the U.S. government and ultimately to end his Doge thing. The Avelo Airlines protests worked to get them out of deportation flights for ICE. And now we are seeing protests all over the country, anywhere they want to try to put an ICE prison camp, in any town of any size, in any state, no matter how liberal or how conservative. We're also seeing corporations like Target being pressured to tell ICE to get out of the state where they are headquartered in Minnesota, to tell ICE that they cannot stage in Target parking lots or enter Target stores for their operations without a warrant. We're seeing Home Depots continue to be protested, like this one in Phoenix this weekend. Home Depot continuing to face pressure to tell ICE to not use their parking lots, to not use their stores for their operations. We're also seeing protests now in the seat of power in Washington, like this really big one a few days ago at the headquarters of Customs and Border Patrol in Washington, D.C. Tomorrow, on January 20th, we are expecting people all over the country to stage walkouts from their jobs and their schools as a fitting way to mark 1 year exactly since Trump has been back in power, and this disastrous year since. On this MLK Day, we are seeing Americans bring moral force of every imaginable kind. Moral force, bringing it to bear against the attempted overthrow of our system of government and the violence that's being used to try to achieve that. Moral force, nonviolent moral force, and faith, the most powerful things in the world.